Welcome everyone to the Your Little Castle Show. Do you ever get that feeling as if you've got somebody you're talking to that just has a good heart and wants to make a difference, is trying to impact our little planet? That's who I think we've got here in studio today, ladies and gentlemen. Please help me and welcome Joshua Woods. Joshua.
Either one.
Either one. He is the owner of Woods Construction. TLW Solutions is the parent company you've developed there, and he has done a great job starting a company, starting a construction business after 12 years in the field.
Yeah.
Journeyman?
Yeah, so roughly 14 years in the trade, in the field, and then basically, so 15 years in total of doing this love-hate thing I got going here.
Crazy construction world, but we're going to show you a lot of the work he's done here, and some of the people have wonderful things to say about him. But with that, we're going to give a shout out to our sponsors. As you can see here on the wall, Brooke Dubin, Amy Dubin, Carroll House Furniture, because you like nice things. Where do you like nice things? Well, those are most often, we keep our nicest things in our little castle. Brooke kind of liked what I did there. He said, you got nice things, you put them in your little castle. That's what our show was all about. So Josh here is going to help us understand what it takes to build nice things. So you can put nice things in the castle that he has either remodeled, upgraded, built from scratch. We've got some construction he's done where he built it literally from scratch. And just I'm really impressive with all of what he's got there. So on the wall behind us, we've got a preview of, that's his website we've inserted this. There we go. Look at those guys on the screen there. You can see. And yeah, we took a snap from our recording and said, hey, put that up on the wall. That's what this will look like when he puts the whole video out there too. So we want you to get a kind of a preview of what we've got going on here to showcase and highlight what Josh has done in the community. So with that, we've got everything up on the walls. We've got lots of, we did a little extra prep for this show because we wanted to make sure and share great work that Josh is doing here. So Josh, tell me then, what led you here? Why did you decide many years ago when you were a youth, they say a youth, somebody very youthful. He's very young as it is already, but you started young. What led you here to this construction
Yes, sir.
world?
So I started roughly when I was 19. As some of us may, we don't necessarily exactly know what we're wanting to do or needing to do or whatnot. So I kind of got shoved into a construction industry to keep me away from trouble and keep my hands dirty and my money clean type thing. So head down and got through a lot of the years trying to perfect the skills required, that I needed. I was like 135 pounds when I got in.
Okay.
And it was a little while ago. So if you can imagine the machinery and the equipment that they have nowadays weren't necessarily as readily available. So you might say that as a 135-pound kid, I had to really learn to center the weight and really give it my all to get through some of those days, and until I gained weight and everything got a little easier. So they say.
Right. Well, I can tell you there's a lot of great work. I'm going to give you a quick snapshot, a quick preview. If you take a look here up on our wall number, so there's the preview of the website. But here's his Facebook page, and a little bit of what we got on the Facebook page here allows us to see some of the awesome work he has really put together here. So we're going to scroll down here a little bit and share. I'm going to click on this image here. There's one of the first jobs you were talking about that helped people to understand, hey man, look at some of the stuff we put together. This turned out nice. And this is just the beginning. He's got a whole video dedicated to this. But I even put up, I said, man, we got so much of this. Let's just go through and make a whole review of your images, pictures through, yeah, there you are, going to work. And here's this is some work you've done too, right? Look at that,
Yes,
some
sir.
beautiful awning.
That turned out
This,
nice.
this project here hit home for you a little bit. Tell me why this one, when you were working on this,
This is
this
a
one
part,
was one of the more difficult jobs you had.
Yes, this is a part of the love-hate. I was asked. This was not done by the company that my company. This is in.
So it's probably you worked on, you were in charge of.
I was the foreman on this project. I was in charge. This is at the Lake of the Ozarks, and so I was sent down there to manage this project and get it up off the ground. when they asked me to go be the lead on this, they asked if I was interested in building a structure on a little hill.
Yeah.
And whenever I got down there, we realized that it wasn't necessarily a hill; it was more cliff-like.
Right.
And we didn't have a lot of machinery on this. I didn't have a lot of skilled help, but we made it through. We came together, and I utilized the best of everybody that I did have, their best assets, and put them together, and we came out on top, and we got it done.
So yeah, you're not just the construction guy. You're the foreman, the head honcho for making sure a project comes together. And I can just tell. You say you can't tell. You can tell because right, the water's about 40 feet below.
Yeah.
Or 20 feet at least, below everything. So that's a pretty substantial drop right there. Well, and you've got a lot of other great work you've done too. This beautiful home here. Tell me a little bit about what you were working on here.
So that home is the home that I learned how to do swoop roofs on.
Swoop roofs. I haven't even heard of that. What is that?
It's so if you notice on the gables on the front, they have kind of a swoop to them. If you see on the overframe, like right above the windows, the triangle, the white triangle.
Okay.
How that swoops.
I got you. All right.
And it takes sort of a curvature.
Ah, yeah, I see what you're talking about. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Extra reinforcements necessary, training, skills.
Yes, sir.
To learn how to do that.
There's a lot of hours that went into to learning this type of thing. A lot of mud and dirt and blood and crying and the whole thing. You know.
I got you. It sounds like it's like anything. It's worthwhile in life. You put a lot of sweat and tears into that, right?
Yes, sir.
And maybe a few scratches here and there that made it worthy, so that you complete the job there. But you say you've been doing this now for 15 years and 3 years with your own business. So your business, as it says right there, Woods Construction, doing it right the first time. Tell me about that tagline. How did you pick that? Why is it important to you?
Yes, sir. So I believe that a lot of people are putting their investment in their home, and investment in their home.
Right.
And they're paying really good money for some of these things to be done. I think the last thing that anyone, not even just my customers, the last thing that they want is to have a project go underway and halfway through, three-quarter of the way through, maybe a week into it, you run into problems. You run into these things that are done in a way that you have to go back and fix. So nobody really wants that.
Lackluster performance. Somebody cutting corners.
Yeah, so doing it right the first time it's kind of, I may not be the fastest at the job or whatnot, but I have learned that it's gold if you can just take a second and look all the way around the situation and try to make sure that you are performing your tasks the way that they need to be done the first time. So you do not have to spend, the customer does not have to spend the extra money on going back and then hiring somebody else and doing all this and that.
Yeah, great point there. We're going to break out the pencil here for you to take note. But that goes back to something we talked about before on our show here, and that is do it right the first time. Why is it important to do it right the first time? Because when you do it again, you just doubled your expenses, your costs. And you cut corners and you save a few bucks, then you end up having to spend more time, more money fixing that because you didn't take the time to do it right the first time. And Josh has it right on his website. I'm going to pull that up actually to show everybody. But that is important to note because how often is it that we have people who you can tell they didn't do it right the first time? It's there. There's no project too big or small. General contractor, we maximize your and really does a great job with what we've got there. I know you have it on your website. But
oh, it's on there.
I saw it. That's what we pulled that right off of there. So tell us, and Josh, obviously, what is it about this that fuels your passion? You wake up every day and you get to say, hey, man, I'm impacted. This is the largest investment that people have. In their house. Their house is the largest thing they put money into. Obviously, their biggest investment. Is there a little pressure for you? How does it make you feel working on people's houses?
I'll be honest. As I started getting into this a little deeper and deeper, the dollar amount started to get a little bit larger, and my nerves started to get a little bit more. I was able to work through that. I feel like that's a process that everybody kind of has to get through and conquer. Your nerves, part of it. I think that what I want to say is that what drives me for this company. It used to, when I was younger, it used to be to try to be the best carpenter that I could be, right? And swinging the hammers and using the tools and everything. Now I realize that what keeps me going and what gets me up excited every day is the chance that I can give everything that I have to this craft and to my customers. And then if I wake up the next day, I wake up with a smile because I get another opportunity to do that and to do it a little bit better. I feel like we're in a place now to where maybe people are taking advantage of some people in down times, and I want to be a light that shines through that darkness, if you will, in the construction industry.
Right. Well, and I can see. So yeah, as a matter of when you say being the best with regard to being, the best construction guy out there, that's a very focused area, and it allows you to do a good job for that niche. But you're saying it's more than that now, because you're getting into stuff where you're like literally affecting people's livelihood. They can't wake up, they can't sleep, they don't have a place to do their work. A lot of people work from home or to prepare for work or just to have that downtime. There's a lot more to this than just being the best construction guy. You're saying I want to be the best guy to make sure these affect people's lives in a positive way to make life better for them.
And to add to that, I know what it is like to be in, down times, if you will, and your day may go one way or the other, good or bad, but your castle or your place of peace is your home. So however your day went, if your house is not put together, it just keeps going and keeps rolling. I get all kinds of customers that end up in a spot to where they're overwhelmed or they're, like, how do we get out of this? And step by step, sometimes we run into problems or hang-ups or this and that, but that's what it's about, is taking the whole thing and making it work out.
Yeah, there's a lot more that goes into a project than just saying hammer, nails, a couple cuts here and there. You've got to plan this whole thing out and help them to understand. So it's something I guess we've had so many guests on here, but I don't remember talking about specifically. There is a whole lot of excitement, but also fear from your client potentially. They're going, I can see where the house is at before. I'm not happy. Now you've come in and things are torn apart. How are you going to take where we're at here and turn this into something beautiful, like they'd already seen you do? But they get a little nervous about that. And part of your job is to comfort them to make sure they understand what you're going to do here.
Yes, sir. So depending on what type of job it is, if let's say that they have damage to their house, from a storm or something, they have insurance, kind of going in there and being a part of that. What we'll do is the first time I like to boots on the ground, right? So I like to go to the property that is being looked at and get my own eyes on what is going on. A big part of this job is fixing things that aren't able to be seen at first look.
Okay.
Having said that, say something is, your drywall is popping and it seems like you just need to fix your drywall. Well, maybe it's popping for other reasons. Some stages in how it was built might have been done incorrectly or just age. I think that when I come in, I try to encapsulate the entire problem. I try to assess it as best I can with the time that I have and let you know that there may or may not be potential for. I try to get my customer to see the entire scope of work before we get too far in, and then it's like, well, this is a extra charge that you didn't know about. This is an extra charge. I want you to understand the entire problem before we start breaking into it.
Yeah, that's where getting that whole estimate, the whole projection, the whole project put in place so they can have a good understanding has a lot to do it with making this happen. And that is, like you said, doing it right the first time. I remember where that came from now. It was our discussion, and I said, is there one particular phrase you live by? And there it is, right? Doing it right the first time.
Yes,
and that's what you're talking about. Was you get one shot to start the project. Once the project started, now you're past the initial, hey, here's what we're going to do. You're in there doing the work. We should help them understand the whole comprehensive picture of what's going on there, so that they're not going, wait a minute, you didn't tell me this, I didn't realize these. Oh, here's some other changes we're going to have to make, and that's what you try to avoid. And that's, as the foreman and the owner, that's what they get to deal with you directly to work on.
Yes, yes. And I feel that I really practice on being flexible and being able to work with my customers, talk through things, because like I said, it's never a perfect world, and there's always going to be something that comes up, or an issue here or an issue there, or an addition or something like that. But a good open line of communication is what I feel is key.
Absolutely, and that's, there we go. Take that one. I will vouch for that. My master's degree, my undergrad is in marketing and communications. My master's is in media communications, and it literally is like I've proven so many times that it's not usually nobody deliberately tried to make a mistake. Nobody deliberately tries to say, oh, we're going to throw a wrench in the middle of this. But so many times it's the communication between people when they're saying, well, I thought you wanted this color, or I wanted this size, or I thought we're going to cut this in here, put the door over there. Communication, as you're saying, is one of the most important things to take note of, and
Yes,
you've got to become a master of communications.
Yes.
Whether you went to grad school for it or not, I'm still paying for that student loan. But yeah, I'd say that's definitely something that is important to note, and you're saying that's an emphasis for you.
Yes. Yes.
Good. All right. Well, we've got some great communication that has come from a number of his customers, and you can see some of those on his Facebook. You can see some of those. We highlighted one here in particular on our TV wall there. If you take a look over here on the TV wall to our right, and again, there's the website behind us, and here is this testimonial that you can find. It said, I had an old deck I wanted to replace and minimize costs. I requested the substructure be saved if possible. The project was a bit of complicated as part of the deck and was attached to two sides of the house, and another portion was screened in beneath the home's roof. The end result was they were able to accommodate all of my changes, readily work with me in a decision making, saved the structure of the deck, and left me with a beautiful, solid, and functional deck that met all of my requirements. Given all the members of the team, we also were extremely helpful and friendly. I had no qualms, and I highly recommending Woods Construction. Well, that's pretty cool. I mean, we actually had to trim that down because it was a long. Your customer there went on and on, but those were the highlights. It's Steve. Tell me, how does it make you feel? How do you feel like this particular project? You got to put this together.
I can't lie to you. The first time that I saw that he sent that over to me, I teared up, man. It was somebody else taking note of what I have burning inside of me. It feels like my passion that I have. It's like somebody saw it.
Right.
You know.
I said, here's something put together. We're going to make this look like a beautiful piece of art, and this is going to be a functional component for this family's happiness, fun. They get to spend a lot of time out there and create a lot of memories.
Grandkids. We made sure that their grandkids and everything, everything was up to code, and everybody was going to be, safe with kids running around and things like that with the finished product. So he has a bunch of grandkids that his whole family gets to spend time on this thing that we built. And he gets to enjoy, however long he stays there. And that's what it's about, is him getting something that he had planned in his head out into reality,
Taking that idea somebody had. I like the way you say that. We all have these ideas of what we perceive we would like to have as our dream, our little castle. But you're taking this and actually putting it into place. And he was so happy. He wrote. It was about 3 paragraphs. We trimmed it down.
Very nice, man.
To fit, but you get to fulfill people's dreams, dream homes.
Yes. We used to say we were building dreams when I was in schooling for this, and it was always kind of a joke, but now it's not, because it's the truth.
There you go. I like that one. It's no longer something they just kind of joke around about it. We're building dreams for people. You literally are. You've put together a number of different, and I want to show some of these pictures. We're going to go through a little bit more of the work Josh has done here and show off a little bit about what we've got here. So tell me, what is it though, the one thing that sets your business, your organization apart? What would you say that really makes you better than the rest?
I don't know about better than the rest, but something that I can say is when you go with me, I take all of my work home with me. I don't. I know there's a fine line and everything, but I'm like a bulldog on it, and I just get it and grab it, and I don't let go of it until everything is settled and everyone's happy. So I understand that the others out there, everyone has their own lives going on. Everybody has a husband or a wife or kids or obligations. I do not have any children. I do have a dog.
Right.
He's great, but I go home and I study. I do this. This is what I do until I go to bed.
Well, there you go. Somebody dedicated to their craft, and they say it takes 10,000 hours. You're well beyond that now before you become an expert, but you've literally put this in. And you too. I'm of that ilk myself, and I've had many relationships that kind of suffered from that a little bit.
Yeah.
I've got a wonderful partner, girlfriend now that really helps me, and she understands it. This is what I'm dedicated to. She sees me to work. She knows to go to the other side of the room or go and just not that I don't want her around,
it's a give and
but I
take.
want to stay focused, and you've got to make those compromises if you want to elevate your business to the level you're at right now.
Yes, sir. It's compromises, patience, and the ups and downs.
Sure.
Belief.
Belief. I like that one. Write that one down too, everybody. Belief. I do a lot of studying on my own to what is it that helps us prosper as humans. And they talk about look this guy up, Dr. Dispenza, and he says, I like what you said there. He said, the first thing that's most important, you must believe in yourself. Write that one down, because everything stems from that. Your body reacts to everything that happens based on whether you can believe you can do it, and then the positive outcomes come from that belief, and that's the core to making it. Look him up, and you
That's
nailed it
really
right.
neat. Yeah.
You nailed it right there. So well said. I don't think he actually had to get the lecture from Dr. Dispenza. It took me. he developed. Josh learned this on his own. On the wall now, we're going to share a couple things here because we're almost through our half hour here, but. Take a look here. Tell me what's going on. You've got some big lifting here, and
So
what is this particular object floating over everybody's heads?
I believe that is a building off of Del Mar in St. Louis. And that right there, I put that together on the ground. That is a section of their roof overhang.
Okay.
And we did it in two parts. So the one on the left that is up, landed on the building, is when it went right. So I filmed the second one. No, so we got it up there, squared away, and that was actually done in record time.
Awesome. Well, it looks like that's a heck of a project. You've got a crane going in there to pull that thing over.
That was a tower crane. That was really fun.
Okay. A little bit more here. Same project. Big stuff going on here.
Yeah, same project, different area.
And yeah, you see that crane, everybody. That's a big crane. There's an acronym for that we can't use on television, but that's a big crane, and obviously a lot of work going into that, and you got to have big things. Here now, is this part of the backside of that place? That was that hill, and this is where
So the lake is right where we would be in the lake if you're looking.
Yeah,
at
if we're downhill, we're in the lake.
So that white wall is roughly 7 feet tall.
Okay.
To give you perspective, these poles here that are holding the decks up, they were hand set.
Okay.
We hand set those.
Those silver poles, point to those, for I didn't have that on camera.
These guys right here.
Okay.
We had to carry those down the hill.
Wow.
And then stand them up. That was interesting, but we got it done. Nobody got hurt. It's sometimes in this industry you find yourself in a spot that you start thinking to yourself, am I really safe right now? And it makes you question it. And if you can find yourself in those spots before the accidents happen, then I've always believed that that's kind of the way to go about it. Yeah. Safety first.
Safety first. I was going to say safety first is. We're coming up with all kinds of important, but safety first. They talked about, like, for instance, not that this is the arch, but the big structures like this that go very high. They predicted many people were not going to make it through the whole construction of the arch. You got somebody falls off one of the levels you've got here, there will be some heavy damage. That's a 20, 30-foot fall, and then they roll down into the water if they. But you're responsible for all that, and you made it happen.
Yeah, those guys up there, they Yes, I had to make sure they became my kids. You know, I
Gotcha.
have to watch out and always trying to figure out which one of them are, you know, what are they doing and making sure they're safe. Trying to keep an eye on them while you're keeping an eye on the project. But that's the kind of thing that I like.
Okay, well, that's what you enjoy that. You get to help guide people. They get to learn a little bit from your skills and your background, so that they can pick up and develop a career. And you've helped a number of people. It sounds like some of these kids you said were likely high school age when they were coming in.
Yeah, right out of high school.
Straight out of high school.
Yep,
Very
thinking everybody learns. Everybody got to start
You got
somewhere.
somewhere you start. What's going on here? This is a pretty nice looking deck. Cedar, right? Is that?
Yes. Yep. That's a cedar deck. That is, I believe that one is in St. Peter's.
Okay.
I believe. Yeah, I just started. That was a long time ago, actually. I really like doing decks. You know, it's something that can not. It's a pile of lumber one day, and it's a deck that you're standing on. You know, having a drink of your choice on the next day.
Right.
Type thing, if you will. Maybe not that fast. But,
Sure. And big decks like back of this one. This is that same property about to be finished now.
yes.
Is that true? Okay.
Yeah.
And now is this going back to the house that had those unique?
Yes, so this right here, up on that main overframe is, I was on the inside of that with the other picture I showed you.
I got you. Okay.
That roof took a while.
Wow. Now what do we got going on here? This is a heck of a.
So this is another project. I believe this is around Del Mar also. That is a picture that I got to take from the top of the tower crane.
Okay, you were on the crane.
Yeah. So I was over basically all the guys in the picture that you see. You can see them everywhere, popping in and out. I was in charge of those guys and in charge of getting the flooring system and put into place and everything like that. So I had a walkie-talkie, and I would have to coordinate with the tower crane guy 8 hours a day and land things and this and that. And so we became pretty friendly, and he let me come up there. Sometimes he would bring me a Red Bull for lunch, and he'd climb up the crane, and I'd stick a stick out of the thing, and I'd get a Red Bull from the crane driver.
Grasp of the Red Bull.
Yeah.
Wow, you've got some incredible work there, everybody. Check out more of that. You can see this is all on his Facebook page that Josh has out there for his business. But I want to ask you a couple more questions. What is the big mistake that people make when they're going into a project like this and they're saying, all right, man, I want to make my castle, make this happen for me? What's the mistake they make before or while they're making that decision?
I would say that a lot of times customers, let's use a deck for an example. The customers have the deck that they want. Maybe they go really into picking out the different materials of this and that, and they get it zoned out really well and factored in all the cost for it. But sometimes that hurts them if they don't leave an opening for, okay, this is to put the deck back, but we got to take the deck down. We got to
Extra costs there. We're about to run out of time here.
Yeah.
Call Josh. He will make sure you get everything done you need. Giddy up.